Crying in front of your kids. There was a time in my life when my husband was very sick. It was one of those seasons where emotions feel close to the surface all of the time. I was doing my best to keep things together for our children, but the truth is that sometimes the feelings were simply too big to hide. I remember wondering what I should do if they saw me cry. Many parents have the same question. We want to protect our children. We want them to feel safe, and somewhere along the way, many of us learned the idea that to be a good parent means keeping strong emotions out of sight. But life doesn't always work that way. Sometimes children see our tears, and when that happens, it can actually become an important moment for learning and connection. Why crying in front of your kids feels so uncomfortable. For many parents, crying in front of your kids feels uncomfortable because we worry about what it might do to them. We fear that our children might feel scared, confused, or burdened by our emotions. Part of this worry comes from the message many adults grew up with, that strong emotions should be handled privately. Many people were taught that showing sadness meant losing control. But children do not experience emotions the same way adults do. They are constantly learning what feelings look like and how people move through them. When a child sees a parent experience emotion in a healthy way, they are learning something valuable about being human. They learn that emotions are a part of life, not something to hide or fear. Children notice more than we think. Regardless of the age of your child, they will pick up on your feelings. Children are incredibly perceptive. Even when we believe we are hiding our emotions well, they often sense that something is happening beneath the surface. If you find yourself crying in front of your child, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it can be quite beautiful. What you're doing in that moment is modeling something very important, that crying is a healthy way to release emotion. What matters most is what happens next. If your child asks why you are crying, honesty becomes important. They deserve the truth in an age-appropriate way, no matter what their age is. When a child doesn't receive an explanation, their imagination fills in the gaps, and what they imagine can often be much worse than the reality. Why honesty matters when children see your tears. When my husband was sick, I struggled with how to handle my emotions around my children. I wanted to protect them, but I also didn't want to pretend that everything was fine when it wasn't. A therapist guided me through this. She explained something that changed how I approached those moments. A child's imagination will often create something far scarier than the truth. If they notice a parent crying but receive no explanation, they may assume something is terribly wrong. They may think they caused it or that something bad is really about to happen. Learning to share honest, simple explanations helped our children understand what was going on without overwhelming them. Sometimes it was as simple as saying, "I'm feeling sad today because Dad is sick, but we are taking care of it." Those small moments of honesty made a difference. What crying in front of your kids teaches them. Children learn far more from what they observe than from what we say. When they see adults acknowledge emotion and move through them, they begin to understand that feelings are a normal part of life. They learn that sadness does not mean everything is falling apart. They learn that emotions come and go. Most importantly, they learn that it is safe to feel what they feel. This lesson stays with them long after childhood. As adults, they may remember that emotions were allowed in their home. They may feel more comfortable talking about their own feelings because they saw it modeled. The difference between expression and overwhelm. Crying in front of your kids can be healthy, but there is an important difference between sharing emotion and placing the emotional burden on a child. Children should not feel responsible for fixing a parent's feelings. That's our job. Healthy emotional modeling might look like letting them see your tears, offering a simple explanation, and reassuring them that you are okay and handling the situation. This shows them that emotions can be experienced without losing stability. Children do not need perfect parents. They need real ones who demonstrate how people move through life's emotional moments. Looking back now. My children are adults now. Looking back, I can see the value in the effort it took to learn how to handle those moments honestly. It wasn't always comfortable. Sometimes it felt easier to try to hide my emotions. But learning how to speak openly in ways they could understand helped build trust in our family. Those conversations helped them see that emotions are not something to fear. I'm so proud of who both of them are now. Having emotions is simply part of being human. When you need support with big feelings. Not every moment of crying requires therapy. Many emotional moments are simply part of living a full life. But sometimes the weight of what we are carrying becomes too heavy to hold alone. If that happens, seeking professional support can be incredibly helpful. And if what you need is simply a space where someone can listen while you talk through what you are feeling, that kind of support matters too. Being heard can bring calm, comfort, relief, and clarity during times when emotions feel overwhelming. See also the blog on Do I Need Therapy?